This video is how Offspring made my daughter hate smoking. My interest in Offspring, no, I didn't realize there was a "the" at the beginning. I didn't realize it for years. But my interest in them began after my teens, but before my maturity started. My friends and I somehow acquired, either we bought it at a used pawn shop, or stole it from my brother, or used one of the last Columbia House things to get a freebie. We got the Smash CD. We didn't know much about the band. Well, actually, we didn't know anything. All we honestly knew was there was an awesome cover. The cover was very Fight the Authority. But when we played it, we quickly discovered The Offspring. The songs Self-Esteem and Genocide were played heavily for months afterwards. I still know most of the words to all the songs, but the good ones to be sure. It wasn't until a few years ago that I learned, well, I was pretty dumb. There's a line in Genocide that goes, "Dog eat dog every day." I honestly thought the line was, "Donkey Kong every day." I'm never ever going to live down the shame of that blunder. I kept my ear to the ground for new, at least to me, Offspring music after hearing that CD. I happened to be in a very small town when I noticed a small mom and pop convenience store. In the store there were some DVDs and some VHS tapes for rent, regular half stale convenience store food, video games for rent, and a collection of obviously used, well, things. Okay. There was all kinds of small, weird stuff for sale inside. Along the back, but just barely avoiding the sunlight, was a shelf of music CDs. Probably not the best place to keep them, but I didn't own the store. One morning, I was casually flipping through the CDs and came across an Offspring CD called Ignition. The cover was pretty drab, and I didn't recognize any of the songs listed on the back, but there was a song called No Hero towards the back of the CD, and it was pretty good. Okay, I didn't hear the song before I bought it, but it turned out to be a good song. Looking back, I seriously figure I bought the Ignition CD because of that song. I was a very big comic book guy, and back then I would collect the entire runs of stories, like Death in the Family, the Batman storyline where Robin dies, and when the X-Men fought the Marauders. Well, for the first time, I was there. So because of that, I purchased this CD. It had Hero in the title, and obviously that meant the song was about Wolverine or Batman or Superman. I mean, that's the way it is, right? Remember, the cover didn't grab me, and I only had the fond memory of the Donkey Kong song to remind me of who Offspring were. Well, that and the fact that there was a $2 price tag, so that's probably why I bought it. And that song, No Hero, well, yeah, it was a pretty good song, but it was a dark song. It was a song about a passing of a friend that, well, he didn't get a chance to save. Very, very dark compared to, Donkey Kong. A good song, but, not the fun audio slugfest that other Offspring songs were. But now I had the CD in my collection, so we kept going. As the years went by, Offspring took a back seat to my ears, but they got more popular with the radio crowd. In the 90s, I was never a big part of the radio crowd. Instead, I seemed to be focused on finding music that hadn't been heard by people that I knew, like Bjork and Nine Inch Nails. I casually became aware of the song Hit That, playing on the radio. Actually, I didn't know the name of the song because on the radio, unless you heard the song at either the beginning or the end, when the DJ would tell you what we were listening to, you never actually knew the title of the music. All I knew it was catchy. And after listening to the words, casual sex, both perspectives, stuff like that, it was a little surprising that they were on the radio at all. I mean, some of the lyrics are, he was saying I'm on a roll with all the girls I know. His baby mama, she ain't so slow. He's saying I'm on a roll with all the girls I know. I know you want to hit that. I know you want to hit that, hit that. I couldn't believe that was on the radio. But, we were in a small Canadian town, so maybe they didn't care. But it was also so surprising to me that it was so widely popular. But hey, it's always good to know that there are more perverts in the world like me. I was walking around with my son and daughter, enjoying a nice sunny afternoon, walking through the park. My boy was about 6, and my daughter was about 8 at that time. The park was pretty busy that day. Not so much with kids playing and such, but more of the elderly crowd, smoking and chatting. Through idle chit-chat, my son started to sing the words to Hit That. I didn't notice it right away, but the melody was familiar, and it started hatching an earworm in my brain. While he sang on, my daughter was running around and playing, my brain started to remember the details of the song and the lyrics. My slow brain started to move faster, and I suddenly realized that my 6-year-old son was happily singing about all the girls he knew and that he wanted to hit that and hit that. He gleefully crooned on like a happy drunk. The geriatric smokers turned around to look at him as if their brains had been picked up by the lyrical sluttiness that I before I did. I quickly stopped him, probably looking a little frantic, my eyes darting between the crooning child bard and the judgmental smokers club. I grabbed him and spun him around. Where on earth did you hear that? He told me that the song was the greatest song he'd ever heard, how it made him dance, and he liked hitting that. My brain tried to escape the situation, but nope, I was stuck with this issue. Seeing the stroke started to happen in my brain, my daughter told me in a matter-of-fact voice, Dad, this is an awesome song. All the kids are singing it. Don't worry about it. It's just fun. I looked at her with kind of an incredulous look on my face. My brain finally picked up to cruising speed, and I saw the Cancer Club had returned to talking crap about the homes and the horrid people they knew. My awful parenting skills were out of their judgmental line of fire. I quickly internally debated of whether or not to tell them what the song was, why perhaps a kid should never ever be singing that song in public. But I already knew I really wasn't ready to have the talk with my son and my daughter. And there was no way in hell I wanted to do that in a public park anyway. I simply told them that, yeah, it was a kick-ass song, but that they should hear the Offspring song about Donkey Kong. They both thought I was a huge liar, insisted we could go home right away so they could prove it. As we were leaving, my daughter took one look back at the Smokers Anonymous meeting by the picnic tables and asked, Dad, don't they know they're going to die from smoking? And I replied without really hearing the question. I said, well, they're not going to die tomorrow, so that's okay. She got a very serious look on her face and said, oh, yes, Dad. Yes, they are. And that's when I realized that my little girl was really more of an Ursula than a Sabrina. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story that fell out of my head. If anyone has ever had kids say embarrassing things to strangers, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear all about it. I also wanted to say a big thank you for being here. I really appreciate the support for listening to my stories. New episodes will be out every Tuesday. I look forward to telling you many more things that fell out of my head.